There's a specific kind of silence that exists in a home where two people have stopped being partners and started being jailers. It is not the peaceful silence of a quiet morning, but a heavy, suffocating tension that weighs on your chest every time you turn the key in the lock. If you are in your 40s or 50s, you already know that time is no longer a luxury you can afford to waste on the wrong person. When you were 20, a bad relationship was a learning experience, a dramatic story to tell over drinks. But at this stage of your life, a bad marriage is a catastrophic tax on your health, your finances, and your very soul. The most dangerous mistake you can make right now is believing that love is a rescue mission. We have been programmed by movies and songs to believe that our love has the power to heal the broken and stabilize the chaotic. But I am here to tell you the brutal truth that your family and friends might be too polite to say. You cannot build a sanctuary on a foundation of quicksand. If you choose to marry one of the 5 types of people we are discussing today, you are not signing up for a partnership. You're signing up for a life sentence of emotional labor, managed crises, and the slow erosion of your own identity. Let's look at the actual cost of these decisions before you accidentally trade your hard-earned peace for a lifetime of chaos. The first person you must strike from your list forever is the one I call the Perpetual Project. This is the person who is a construction site of a human being, always under renovation but never reaching completion. They have vibes, they have trauma, and they have an endless list of reasons why their life hasn't started yet. Your heart tells you that with enough support, enough stability, and enough of your love, they will finally become the person they were meant to be. But marriage is not a rehabilitation center. It is not a charity organization where you provide the funding and the labor while they provide the potential. When you marry a project, you do not gain a spouse, you gain a dependent. You will find yourself managing their schedule, fixing their mistakes, and apologizing for their lack of accountability. Over time, the romantic attraction will die because you cannot truly desire someone you have to parent. You will wake up one day and realize that while you were busy building their life, your own life was passing you by. At this age, you need a finished product, someone who has already done the work to be a functional adult. If they are not already healing and responsible before the wedding, they certainly won't be after it. The second type of person who will destroy your peace is the walking time bomb. This is the individual with zero emotional control who treats every minor disagreement like a title match. They don't just argue, they explode. They use silence as a weapon, doors as percussion instruments, and words as poison. Living with a time bomb means you are constantly running a threat assessment in your own living room. You watch your tone, you measure your words, and you hold your breath just to keep the atmosphere stable. This is not a relationship. It is an emotional hostage situation. They will tell you they are just passionate or that they can't help how they feel. But the truth is that a lack of emotional regulation is a sign of deep-seated disrespect for your well-being. In a healthy partnership, your home should be the one place where you don't have to be on guard. If you marry a volcano, you're choosing to live in a perpetual state of fight or flight. This chronic stress will eventually manifest in your body as high blood pressure, exhaustion, and a hollowed-out spirit. You deserve a partner who solves problems with you, not someone who becomes the biggest problem you have to solve every morning. The third person to avoid at all costs is the professional victim. This person has a PhD in blame shifting and an infinite supply of sad soundtracks for their life. To them, every ex was crazy, every boss was unfair, and every failure was a conspiracy. The most dangerous thing about a professional victim is that they are incapable of accountability. In their world, they are the only person who is never wrong. When you enter a relationship with them, you are auditioning for the role of the next villain in their story. The moment you stop accommodating their every whim, you will become the one who is mistreating them. They will make you feel guilty for things you didn't do and responsible for feelings you didn't cause. A marriage without accountability is a slow psychological death. You cannot grow with someone who refuses to look in the mirror. Eventually, you will start to doubt your own reality, wondering if you really are the monster they claim you are. Protect your sanity and marry someone who can say the words, "I was wrong and I will do better." The fourth type is the lazy dreamer with zero drive. We all love a visionary, but a vision without action is just a hallucination that you are expected to subsidize. This is the person who is always one big break away from success, while you are the one paying the mortgage. They talk about the business they will start, the book they will write, or the life they will build next year. But next year is a destination that never arrives. If you marry someone with no ambition, you're volunteering to carry the entire weight of the relationship on your back. You will provide the financial security, the logistical planning, and the emotional fuel while they sit on the sidelines cheering for themselves. Nothing is more frustrating for a high-achieving adult than waking up next to someone who treats effort like a foreign concept. At 50, you don't want to be a donkey pulling a cart. You want a teammate who is running at the same pace as you. Ambition isn't just about money. It's about a zest for life and a commitment to growth. If they are waiting for life to happen to them now, they will still be waiting 20 years from today. Finally, you must run from the secret controller disguised as a caregiver. This is the most subtle and perhaps the most dangerous type of all. It doesn't start with demands. It starts with suggestions made out of love. They tell you they don't like your friends because those friends don't appreciate you. They suggest you stay home more because they miss you so much. They slowly isolate you from your support systems until they are the only voice you hear. This is not love. It is surveillance. They want to own your identity, your confidence, and your autonomy. For an adult who has worked hard to build a life and a career, this loss of freedom is a tragedy. A healthy marriage should feel like an expansion of your world, not a shrinking of it. Love should be a wind in your sails, not a cage for your wings. If someone is already monitoring your phone or questioning your movements while you're dating, imagine the prison they will build after the vows. You have to realize that you don't marry potential, you marry patterns. Potential is a fantasy we use to distract ourselves from the red flags standing right in front of us. Patterns are the truth of who a person is and how they will treat you when the honeymoon phase ends. If they are chaotic now, they will be chaotic later. If they are selfish now, they will be selfish later. In fact, marriage usually acts as a magnifier, turning small irritations into major disasters. Your peace is the most valuable asset you own at this stage of your life. It is the result of decades of hard work, mistakes, and learning. Do not throw it away for the sake of a social milestone or the fear of being alone. The fear of dying alone is a ghost story told to people to keep them in line. But the reality is that there are things much worse than being alone. Being married to someone who makes you feel lonely is a much deeper tragedy. Coming home to a war zone every night is a much faster way to the grave. You deserve to wake up in a house that feels like a sanctuary. You deserve to make decisions about your time and your money without having to navigate an emotional minefield. You deserve a partner who respects your boundaries as much as they respect their own. If you are nodding along to this, it's because your intuition has been trying to tell you this for a long time. Stop negotiating with your own well-being. Stop trying to convince yourself that the walking disaster in front of you will magically transform into a stable partner. Choose wisdom over fantasy. Choose patterns over promises. And most importantly, choose yourself. You have spent enough years providing for others and meeting everyone else's expectations. Now, it is time to protect what you have built. If someone gets offended by these truths, they are likely the person you need to avoid. True partners aren't afraid of these standards. They are relieved to finally find someone who shares them. Take a breath and look at the person you are considering for the rest of your life. Are they adding peace or are they adding chaos? The answer to that question is the only map you need. Marriage is not a game, and at this age, the stakes are for keeps. Respect your future self enough to walk away from anyone who treats your peace like an optional subscription. You have earned your freedom, and you have earned your joy. Do not let a bad choice take it all away. Patterns don't lie, even when people do. Choose wisely, protect your future, and never ever marry a project.